Oh my God, Jody. Has it been a while? What's been going on?
It feels like it's been a while, but you know what? We have a lot to get to. We have a lot to get to. Everybody in the chat, welcome to the show. Do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel because we got some juicy stuff to get to this morning.
Hey, and here's the deal. As you know, and someone in the chat may know, Pradeep is joining us shortly here. And he's jumping right over here from his live the second we went live. So he's wrapping up. He will be with us momentarily.
Nice.
But that also means that our viewership's going to go up tremendously because you can transfer from one to another, and that's what he's doing. And thank you to him for teaching me a bunch of stuff that I would have never figured out on my own or had any reason to. But, I appreciate that he is supporting us as well because, we sure supported him in the early days, and now he's grown to a level that is beyond the average YouTube channel, and we appreciate him very much.
Yes, thank you, thank you. What do you want to start with first?
Let's cover ARMGODS, man. Let's talk about the
elephant in the room.
Let's talk about the WWE Arm Wrestling Championship of the World.
Did you see how so I don't want to get too far in all the matches, but wasn't a great day for North America. Let's put it that way.
Well, if you just talk about the arm wrestling, because Evan won the fight, but if you're just talking about the arm wrestling, it wasn't a great day for North America. No, it was
not. I think Uncle John was the only person from North America that won their match.
Yeah, I mean, you can chalk a lot of that up to, like, Uncle John is very aware of where he stands in the arm wrestling world, competition-wise. He is taking some matches that are very competitive for himself, but he also is gaining a ton of international experience, which is doing nothing but acting in his favor, So
yeah, well, I'll tell you what, come Manchester, England at the end of March, we're going to see how that's going to go.
Welcome all the guys coming over from Pradeep's channel. We just had a spike in live viewers, so yeah, perfect.
I'll tell you this, the production, as far as ARMGODS went, I liked it. I wish they would not have the disco lights. It almost gave me a stroke trying to watch the matches, but it was their first one, so I give them the benefit of the doubt that, hey, let's just look back and see what did work, what didn't work, and they'll kind of go there and make the necessary adjustments.
I'll tell you what, I bought the membership. I signed up for the stuff. I could not jump in and watch it because I had other things going on that day, but I was supporting it nonetheless. Holy smokes. Arm Sport Videos. Scott, good to see you, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, though. I mean, we had the beer can incident, which, some people enjoyed, some people did not. Some people thought it was cringy. We had the actual arm wrestling match, which was a little bit one-sided. And then they had the additional arm wrestling match, which resulted in Evan getting his beard cut off.
Yes. So if you guys haven't seen, to get you guys caught up on that. So Evan lost the match 4-0 versus Paul Maiden for the Commonwealth title. And by the way, I'm a sucker for belts. So those belts are pretty darn nice, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So there, I think Beerman got married too or something like that. I don't know, yeah, it was a wedding and all that kind of stuff. But so what happened was,
who officiated the ceremony? Sorry to cut you off, but I mean, obviously that was planned.
Yeah.
The wedding. So we had an official ceremony in some ruins. It was kind of a cool thing.
Well, like a castle, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how Evan got his beard cut off is that he lost the match right-handed 4-0 because it was like, 6 rounds. What's the point of finishing? Then all of a sudden, they said, "Hey, Beer Man's like, hey, I'll pull you left-handed. Title for beard." He lost that one, got his beard shaved off, and there you have it. Deep, welcome to the show.
Thanks for letting me in this show. Thanks, brother. You guys are awesome.
Hey, thanks for bringing all the viewers over, man.
I'm not sure if the feature worked. How many people are watching live right now?
It went from about 6 to about 32, so it definitely worked.
Okay. 32 watching here.
Yeah. So I mean, more will come over. We got a ton of guys, and we got one fella asking a question that says he can't get a straight answer to. Let me find that question. Do you guys think Levon should cut to 140 kilos, 140 to 150 kilo for a fair game? Did you guys answer that over on your channel, Pradeep?
Yeah, we kind of discussed that, like putting a weight cap, like mandatory weight cap on super heavyweights. Is it a right thing to do? Many people seem to have been interested in this topic recently. They always give example of MMA. Like MMA, you cannot go over 265, 70, whatever it is. I don't know the exact number. But maybe it is an endurance issue over there. Like a 400-pound guy may be strong, but he will gassed out in round one. Is it good for the pay-per-view? That's not a thing in arm wrestling. So I don't think it is a wise decision. And yes, if he is getting paid extra, like a $5,000 extra, if he's confident enough to beat him at 140 kilos, then maybe. But I don't think it is possible for Levant to cut down to that weight.
So I have an opinion on this, and I'm familiar with the UFC rule is 265 pounds. And the reason that rule is in place is because fighters over 265 pounds generally suck. Their conditioning is off. They're boring to watch. They gas out quickly. Now, of course, there are exceptions to that. Brock Lesnar would be one of the most obvious exceptions. That guy could be bulked up to 300 pounds and still be devastating, maybe even better than the 265-pound version of himself. But you're right. That's not a thing in arm wrestling. And I don't think that there's like if you were to take like maybe the top 6 biggest super heavyweights, Levon is not that much bigger. Like they're very close to the same weight.
My question to this, and Pradeep, maybe you can help us out. Where does the super heavyweight cap? Where does it start? I don't know. I'm not sure where it starts.
Depends
115, like at least East versus West is doing 115. King of the Table is not doing any weight classes as of now. Their weight class is 85 kilo and above. If we watch that tournament, but like nobody's doing super matches with weight categories anymore. Like at least now, for now, East versus West is the only thing that has 115 kilos. Before that, PAL was a thing, 105 kilos. I don't think it is above that. Igor was talking about, although like a couple of years ago or less than that, when Krasi lost to Vitali, he was being interviewed by Igor, and he kind of said to Igor that there should be another weight class. And Igor was also saying that he's thinking about a weight class probably around 118 kilos. This is what he said.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, I guess, but it's opportunity because if you take the guy that's 200, and like if you use WAF classes, so 110 kilos equates to 242 pounds. So if you have somebody 255, 260 pounds, they're either got to make a choice to stay where they are with a disadvantage over the much larger guys, bulk up or cut down. So, you know, sometimes there can't be a class for everyone. And I don't think the strength gap supports a 350-pound guy having their own class over a 290-pound guy, because at some point the quality of weight there is going to be taken into consideration.
Didn't Devin, with his match, didn't they agree to be, what was it, 253 pounds? That's a weird weight. And they agreed upon that, him and Prudnik. Remember that?
Yeah, just the catch weight. And I guess if you have adequate time to, either adequate time to prepare or not adequate time to prepare, you can put a catch weight in there and just agree on some range to make it as fair as you think it needs to be to make the match competitive.
Gotcha.
I think both of them weighed at like 115 kilos. Wasn't that pre-decided? Like I was not able to understand like what was the issue there.
I don't know. I stopped paying attention to the negotiation between Devin and the promoters because it just frustrates me. You know, automatic strap, all that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Zane can't answer that right now, my friend. I do not represent the Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation while I'm on this show, so I can't comment on all the politics between CAWF and IFA and WAF at the moment. But, you know, there will be statements that come out, but I always vet those through my executive committee so we can make sure that we're putting out the same message that we all agree on. Where do you guys want to go with this? So good, bad, ugly. Do you agree that ARMGODS was a good promotion? What would you change? the beer can incident? Would you get rid of it? Would you tell them to smarten up? What's your guys' opinions on it?
Pradeep, you can go first.
Yeah. First thing is, I did not get to watch that event, first of all, because I was outside. And then I heard from someone that when ARMGODS was just starting, they kind of invited someone to join the community group. And the only condition for joining the group was you cannot name Arm Wrestling Newz or Pradeep anywhere near to ARMGODS. Only then we'll let you in. And that guy didn't join. That guy didn't join just because of that. No, I'm friends with Pradeep. I like Arm Wrestling Newz. I'm not joining. So the invitation, there was a condition for the invitation to ARMGODS that you cannot speak Pradeep or Arm Wrestling Newz out of your mouth. Only then you'll be invited here.
To compete or to just be a
I
member
think
of the...
it was in a community, like a private. It wasn't right now for the event, but it was in the beginning when they were just starting off. I think some online group or something like that.
Well, they know that I'm a big supporter of your channel, and they still invited me to compete. So I think they're just making a joke.
Yeah, it was back like when they were starting. This is what I heard from someone.
Huh? Interesting. I don't know why they would do something like that, but
and the people over there, like Marcus Thompson, everybody knows he's not so like in good terms with me. I hear him like talk a lot of crap about me in other live streams. Thankfully he's never commented on my stream ever. Uncle John, Aussie arm wrestler, man, the gang, and Evan Burgoyne, the gang that was there, like they are like far away from Arm Wrestling Newz. And that's why I also didn't bother. Like I did one video to promote the event a little bit. It got like maybe 7,000-8,000 views. Other than that, nothing.
But you must have seen the beer can incident in later videos.
I think it was like he was trying to copy that Twisted Tea thing. It was kind of scripted. In my opinion, it was kind of scripted.
I look at it like this, because some people liked it, others didn't. So as far as that incident goes, I will say this to answer both sides. There's organizations out there that cater to certain, athletes, certain pullers and things like that. I thought the trash talking leading up to it was great. Hey, they're trying to promote this match. It was the main event. They're trying to promote the ARMGODS, and I get all that, Yeah, from an arm wrestling standpoint, that might have been cringy, but for like, hey, excitement, we really want to get this out there. They did what they need to do. They got a lot of views. Everybody was talking about it. So what they did this jet. Now, as far as the event itself, I like the matches. I just think the lighting, I can do without the disco lighting, because that was like, there was times it was hard to see what was going on. And if I'm a viewer, if I'm struggling to see what's going on, I can only imagine what the refs were seeing, because the refs are the important part of all this thing, because they're the ones that got to make a call if it's an elbow foul, if it's actually a legit pin. God forbid if it's a parallel pin and you got some laser flashing on you at a certain angle and you really can't see clearly. I would say get rid of the flashing lights, because like I told Ryan earlier, I damn near had a stroke trying to find out what the hell was going on with this red light and all this other stuff going on. I think if they got rid of that, just use normal lighting, I think it'd be awesome.
What was the rule set like? Were the referees following the rules strictly, or was it like completely WWE style? What was the first impression?
Here's the crazy part about it. I don't know, man. Like there was so much weird stuff that happened leading up to it. I almost didn't pay attention to the actual arm wrestling. Like I did watch Alan Ford's match. I watched a little bit of Evans' match, and I don't even know what rule set they were using. I'm sure Paul had told me at some point what it was, but I forgot all about it. And that's the one thing when you do something gimmicky to get some attention on a show, is people tend to lose focus on what they should be paying attention to.
Well, the question is, when's the next one? Because now it's like, okay, are we going to have the same type gimmicks? Are we not? I don't know. I don't mind the gimmick stuff. I really don't, but don't make it too fake to where it's like, okay. I understand you want to get excitement. You want to get eyes to your event, and everybody has different ways to it. I wish, honestly, I like what Ingen does. Ingen's like, hey, these are my matches. Every episode, I'm going to bring on 2 people who are going to face each other, and we're going to interview them all on one podcast. That's how he's getting his attention on his organization. Totally get that. I wish Core Sports would do a lot more. They're just kind of like, oh, here's the matches. We'll see you on that day. That's pretty much it. And nothing's ever said until the day of. Arm Wars, I like the way they present stuff. Hey, we're going to do the matches, film them, and then later on, we're going to go one by one each Friday.
Yeah.
Getting eyes on it. ARMGODS, they did what they need to do to get eyes on it. So it all depends on to each his own,
Hey, thanks, Victor. I appreciate that. I would like to at some point. You guys want to dive into the matches? Because there's a lot of them. As usual, Ingen does not disappoint.
16, right?
16 matches.
Okay, let's do it.
Well, I've got them in Ingen's order here. So we got Coach Ray versus Doug Ehrlich.
Those guys have been a little chippy lately. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't, kept up on that. And who I thought, if you had an arm wrestler of the year in 2022, if you guys saw the show a couple of times, Ryan, I'd say I'd put Coach Ray up there. I mean, I think he's the only one that actually went to King of the Table and won, East vs. West and won, Arm Wars and won. I mean, he's put himself on the map to where when it's a big event, he strives, and you really can't hold anything against him. Doug, and he's kind of chippy because people think that, hey, you should know me. How come you don't know me? Because you only pull once every 4 or 5 years. And maybe it's because of work or whatever. I mean, I don't know. But last time we saw Doug was at WAL. He got injured, against Tony Katowski. And that was pretty much it. We haven't seen him since. Prior to that, he went to Nemiroff. And you just don't hear anything from him. And then all of a sudden, boom, he has a match at East vs. West. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Pradeep, what are your thoughts on this one?
The first time I heard about this match, and I was like, I've heard of Doug Ehrlich, but like who exactly he is, I don't remember. Then I watched his WL match. Man, I know this guy, but I somehow kind of forgot about him. So Jody was absolutely right. Like, you don't compete in 4 or 5 years, then if you expect everyone to know, I was not aware of who Doug Ehrlich is. And I remember that match exactly, like how it went. He got injured in that match. Then I kind of thought, my initial thoughts about it was Coach Ray is going to win clean, he's going to destroy. But then I heard more about Doug. He used to be a big guy, over 220 pounds or something like that. Now he's cutting, so it looks, I was thinking that if he's the same weight, he walks around that weight, and the amount of experience that Coach Ray has, like Doug himself said, that there is nothing new that he can present to Coach Ray, and he has so much experience in that super match format. He's been winning everywhere. Like, if you can beat Coach Ray, you're at that level. We must have heard somewhere that yes, you are that good. We have seen some evidence in the past, which I don't believe we have seen from Doug Ehrlich. Like, what are his biggest wins? I'm not sure. I don't think he's going to win that match.
I do remember him talk like years ago. I remember Doug. I remember how good he is or was, and if he shows up in true form, it might be a good match. But I have learned not to bet against Coach Ray ever, because he seems to always find a way to win, and he is getting better at a pace that is pretty awesome to look at. Like, he's moving so quickly, progressing so quickly, that we're going to see him against some bigger names. No disrespect to Doug. It's a good match, but I think Ray's going to find a way to win. And of course, they put him first on the card because then Ray's going to run up to the booth and do an amazing job there.
I say Coach Ray 3-1.
I'm going with Coach Ray 3-0.
I'll go 3-0.
Jody writing them down or what?
We keep track of these because this is a competition, Pradeep. We haven't decided what the stakes are, but we just kind of keep track and bragging rights.
Okay, even if the score, if the scores are also being mentioned, then just for that safety margin, I would also like to say 3-1.
There you go. Coach, yeah. Because I was horrible at East vs. West predictions number 5. So
in 5, I think I got 11 correct. I changed the John Brizing prediction at the last moment. If I hadn't done that, it would have been 12 out of 15.
That'd be a pretty good record. Next up, we have Robert.
Oh, I'm sorry. Since you brought up John Brizing, are they going to have the same refs there? Because the last match John had, man, they were starting with his palm pretty much open like that. And like, you cannot start a match like that, which is why John was complaining. Like, why start the match like this not so much where John's hands like that. That's one of the issues that John had. So I'm kind of curious how the ref is going to go.
Well, I heard a rumor that East versus West is kind of, they're kind of associated with the World Arm Wrestling Federation a little bit. So I think the refereeing is going to get tightened up. One of the things Engen could do is make sure he has multiple referee teams there, because 16 matches, man, and progressively harder to referee throughout the day. It's no surprise that a referee would get burnt out.
Yeah. All right. Next one. What we got, Ryan?
Robert Baxter versus Ahmet Yanur. I don't know how to say his last name. I apologize. I probably butchered it. But it's awesome to see Robert Baxter getting a match over there. And Robert has been a longtime supporter of World Arm Wrestling Federation, going to events, winning titles, Masters, Grandmasters, and also has been to Turkey for the World Championships a couple of times. So him and Engen definitely know each other, and it's pretty cool that we get to see Robert have a match over there. I don't know how to predict this one.
I'm saying Baxter because I know little to nothing about his opponent, so I'm going to go with Baxter 3-1 because we've seen him on the national stage at Worlds. Doesn't matter if it's Turkey or Bulgaria or wherever, Brazil. Robert Baxter is always there. And when you're is this a Legends match or no?
No,
I would think so. I don't know what it's labeled as. I just have the list in front of me.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm going with Baxter 3-1 because Pradeep, what you need to know is that if Ryan or I don't know one of the opponents, we're going to go with the safe bet with the other person. So I know nothing about his opponent. Sorry. I'm going Baxter 3-1.
I was just about to talk about this same thing. When I don't know about anything about any opponents, just like in this case, I don't know who is going to hook. I don't know who is going to top roll. I tend to go with the history. And the history kind of tells us that Robert Baxter beat him in, I think it was 2021 or before that, the WAF before that, 2019 or whatever it was. So Robert Baxter beat him. But the Turkey event this year, I think they also faced each other. And last year, 2022. And this time Ahmed beat him. So the most recent result tells us that they both are 1-1, but the last victory, which is very recent, was in favor of Ahmed. And again, hometown advantage, everything. I'm going with Ahmed 3-0 in this one.
I'm going to go Ahmed 3-2.
Ooh.
And that's only because Pradeep gave me insight, some unfair insight after you made your pick, but before I made mine.
It makes it exciting. It makes it exciting.
Now we still do not know who had longer matches. Did he come back from the losing side, Baxter? Was he already tired by the time he faced Ahmed in the finals? Who was on the winners bracket? I don't know anything about that, but I just know that he beat Robert this time.
Mm-hmm. So now match number 3, we have a left-handed match. Efe Komek, who we know well, and his opponent. Now, Pradeep, I'm going to butcher this. Maybe you know it better than I do. Aitbek Beckett.
I have no idea.
Don't know him. I'll go ahead and make the first prediction so we don't think it's unfair here, Jody, but I'm definitely going to go with Komek on this one. Not having any insight.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I've also not seen them compete, but I think in the recent WAF 2022, they faced each other or not. I'm not sure, but they both were in that 110 kg weight class, if I'm correct. What was the name again? Efe Komek versus Aitbek, I think.
Aitbek, yeah.
Yeah. So Engen, I vaguely remember Engen saying that he was the one who put a guy on the losing side, and that guy gave Sandris a really, really tough match on the left arm. And he Aitbek beat that guy. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. They have some kind of history. Beckett lost to FA on fouls. Yeah.
So here's the thing. There's a difference between beating somebody on fouls and beating somebody for a pin. There's a difference. And I hope people, in the books, it'll say, yeah, you lost to him, but you didn't pin him. So I'm going with FA 3-1.
Fair enough.
I'm also going with FA. I would say 3-2 maybe. I don't bet against FA Comics left arm. It is like amazing level. I think if I remember correctly, there was a match on the left arm, and that guy gave Sandris really good trouble, and FA Comic just like flopped his wrist right in the center. So his left could be Sandris Seris level for all I know. I'm going with FA, not even 3-2, 3-1, I would say.
3-1. All right.
I'll go 3-0 then. Put me in for 3-0.
3-0. This is fun.
Okay, now we're getting into some fun stuff. Chance Shaw versus, oh no, I'm skipping one, an important one. Corey West versus Farid.
All right, that's the first one where
formerly Usmanov.
I really got to think, because I think Corey's victory over Cody Merritt, left hand. This is a left-handed match, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. I think Corey's win over Cody at the Monster Factory last month gave him the confidence that he needs, because up until that point, the only two left-handed pullers we've been talking about was Cody Merritt and Morozov. Morozov's taking time off now to heal up, because he's been pulling 2 matches every event now, so he's taking time off. So now I push the spotlight on the new up-and-coming left hand, even though my co-host is sitting right here. But I'm going to say, wow, this is a tough one for me. Wow, because both guys actually have 2 matches that day. So
let me give you some insight on this one.
Please do.
A little bit, because there's a narrative around the fact that Corey West beat Cody Merritt easier than Morozov beat Cody Merritt, which is, an interesting point. But what you don't know is in match number 1, Cody Merritt fractured a carpal bone in his hand. He sent me the x-ray after, and he said he felt it happen in match 1. So that should be a little bit, play a little bit into this. But how strong is Corey West that Cody, just by virtue of hanging on to him, fractured a bone in his hand? So, yeah, Cody did get injured for sure. Did it happen during the match? Did it start before the match with something else? Who knows? But it kind of takes a bit of the edge off that narrative that he beat him easier than Morozov did. I have been in events with Farid previously. He was in Moldova. He was in the left arm Grand Prix. He didn't make it to the final, and I understand he wasn't super training back then, but he is now. I'm still going to take Corey West, and I'm going to take Corey West 3-0.
Well, I'm going to take Corey West 3-1.
Pradeep?
I'll also go with Corey 3-0 on this one, because I think to beat Corey on the left arm and on the right arm, it is kind of a different stylistic thing. Right arm, John has shown that you can beat him in a hook as well. Alex Cordecha has shown that it is extremely difficult to top roll him, but that is possible. So the more easier way for a good hook puller would be to go inside and beat him. They would assume that, like, if they're elite level arm wrestler, super heavyweight, they would have to assume that they have equal power compared with John Brzezinski inside a hook. It is possible. It is not like in today's world for super heavyweights, it is not impossible for them to have John Brzezinski level hooking power. So that could be the way to beat him on the right arm. But on the left, he's also, like, his style is kind of similar to Cody Merritt. He gives, like, for the pronation, he's willing to give everything up. And it is really difficult to hook guys like that. Ryan, I'd like to ask you, like, Farid, does he usually go in a hook on the left arm or top roll? Like, what is his style?
I have seen him have absolute wars. There's an old video from the 2005 World Championships in Japan where he and Yoshi Kanai had an amazing hook battle, and they both dove right in there. So he can kind of do it all. I don't know what his primary move would be. I just think he's kind of good everywhere.
I think you need to top roll Corey on the left arm to beat him. I don't think you can, with all of that side pressure and pronation, I don't think you can hook him.
Yeah, and it takes a hell of a top roller to do that.
I'm going with Corey 3-0.
Yes.
Now we got Chance Shaw versus David Arabuli.
No, that's not the David that we all know of. It's a different one. So I want everybody out there to realize that.
You guys want to start on this one?
I think we have to go with Chanshaw. David Tarabuli is a hook arm wrestler. We recently saw him practice with Levan Saginashvili, Irakli Zirakashvili in the video. And he hasn't competed in like 4 or 5 years, something like that. And one other thing that we know, he has been a podium finisher in WAF, but I don't think he has won gold ever. And being off competition and stylistic thing, until somebody really hooks Chanshaw and beats him easily, I'm going to pick Chanshaw over any hook arm wrestler who is not like world elite in his weight class, like top three in his weight class in the world, hook arm wrestlers. I'm going with Chanshaw with probably 3-0 score in this one.
I'm gonna go with Chance 3-2, and this is a perfect of styles make matches, right?
So I'm sorry, brother. Really sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't think Chanshaw is winning any 3-2 match. Like, how do you see Chance losing 2 rounds and then winning? I think it is impossible. If Chance is winning, he needs to win by dominance. And this is what he has been doing. Like, name one close match where Chanshaw won. It doesn't happen ever.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I kind of, if you go back to Chance versus Todd Zilla, Todd won, 3-0? Against John won 3-1. Yeah. I've seen weirder things, though. I put you this way because did anybody see Angarbayev beat John Brzezinski 3-1? I didn't see that coming. So this is why I'm going to say Chance 3-2. He can, really, like I said, it's just Chance has that low hand top roll. If someone's going to hook, the leverage that he has, it makes you to where you try to hook Chance is on top due to the leverage of his hand on his opponent. But maybe Chance will elbow foul. I don't know. But yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go completely opposite you guys, and I understand the points. And part of the reason I'm making this prediction is those points that Pradeep made exactly. I think that if Chance loses a match, he loses the whole thing. So I'm actually going to say 3-2 for David.
3-2.
At some point, we need to have different opinions, or else we're going to tie.
Yeah.
No, because you picked David, I picked Chance 3-2. Pradeep picked Chance 3-0. So,
because we've seen recently, the last time Chance was in a really close match, that was against Ron Bath, and Chance was extremely dominant. It was quite one-sided for the first 2 rounds, and then it became kind of one-sided on the other side. Like, Ron was dominating him. So that was the closest match that you can get with Chanshaw. And still, the last couple of pins that decided the match were really, really one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chance got gassed. I think he got worn out with Ron Bath, as the match went on. Ron caught something, figured it out, and then Chance had to work, and it was like, well, crap, now what? Kind of like one of those deals.
And the reason why I interrupted you, Jody, because I instantly remembered I interviewed Chanshaw a few days ago, and I asked him, like, brother, I think that if you have to win this match, you have to win by a clean sweep. There is no way you are going to win a clean match, like a close match. And Chance did say, yes, I agree. I'm not winning in a war ever. I need to. I don't think he said ever, but for this match, he for sure said that I am not winning in a war. I have to win by dominance.
And that I think that's what Ryan Bowen is hanging his hat on a little bit, is the fact that he thinks he can gas Chance out a little bit.
Wow. It's a different Chanshaw you're pulling this time, Ryan. So
100%. Next up, guys, we got 10 more 11. We got 10 more matches here. Mindaugas Terasitis, Nurdalet Adarkhan.
Don't know him. Is he from Kazakhstan?
Yes.
I don't. If he's from Kazakhstan, it's probably a safe bet on him. But Mindaugas is incredible too.
I think the reason why Angin said this matchup is because of a stylistic thing. Because if we go back to 2022 WAF, Nurdalet Adarkhan won gold. He beat Daniel Prokopchuk in the final. And he came back from loser side and just blasted Daniel Prokopchuk a couple of times. And I think Mindaugas in the same class finished 5th. I think he was 5th. But to beat Mindaugas, you have to kind of do this side pressure. Like, like Daniel Prokopchuk always does. And Engin was not sure if Nurdolat Adar Khan can do that. Trying to hook Mindaugas is like near impossible task. Like literally no one can do that. And that is Nurdolat's style. So that's why Engin set up this match just because it is a stylistic thing. So can he hook Mindaugas, or is he going to put the brakes on even with kind of a dumped wrist like this? I'm not sure, man. Difficult. But as Jody said, that like he's from Kazakhstan, current gold medalist, really difficult to bet against him. And especially after seeing like he's smart. Like in the finals, Daniel Prokopchuk, I think he stopped him. And once Daniel stops you, I think it is impossible for anyone at that weight to beat him. So he was smart. He kind of did an elbow foul, gathered his energy once again, and then just blasted him to the pad 2 times. That happened 2 times. I'm going with Nurdolat in this one, maybe 3-2.
I'll take Terasitis. Also 3-2.
Mindaugas 3-1. Just to
Gotcha.
you guys know more about the other guy than I do, so that's just that's just me.
This next one I have a very good, very high level of interest in. Curtis Cameron, Canada's own Curtis Cameron versus Zurab Tavaridze. You want me to go first on this one? I think this is the perfect match for Curtis Cameron to make his way into East versus West. And I will say that Curtis Cameron has good stamina. I do believe, though, that he will take it 3-0.
Wow.
I think it's going to go straight into a hook and not go very much different than that for all 3 matches.
Do you think there's no way Zurab can stop him? Like prevent the hook?
I don't think he'll want to. I think he'll play that game. And by the time he figures out that he can't, it'll be too late.
Well, like I said, you know more about that than anybody because you pulled him at Canadian Nationals. How many matches do you guys have there?
Well, I didn't pull him right. Someone said ballsy prediction, Ryan. I didn't pull him right-handed at the Nationals, only on the practice table, but we don't put too much stock in that. Right. I think if Curtis had any weakness, it would be it's not much, but it would be defending a guy with a long arm that can top roll. And that's it. So I have a lane with him. Guys like Rick Heidebrecht still have a lane, but I do not think that a guy like Zurab will be able to contain the power of Curtis Cameron. Thoughts?
That's one of these ones I may have to come back on.
There's a couple matches. So I can speak for probably 10 minutes on this match because just a couple of hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago, I recorded a video about this match, my prediction, and it was like an 8-minute long video. I agree with you, Ryan. I think it is a perfect match. This is what I also said in that video for Curtis Cameron to make an impression on the world of arm wrestling. And I also think he's going to win. In the video, I predicted 3-0 or 3-1 for Curtis Cameron. And the reason for that was, but I don't think that he's going straight in a hook and beating Zurab there. I don't think he can beat him there. And the reason is he's always mentioning, whenever he watch the videos, I'm going straight at Zurab. I'm going straight at Zurab. And he's kind of smirking while saying that I want Zurab to come straight at me. I think Curtis Cameron is going to King's move in that match. It goes back to Devon saying Devon has at least 3 times said that the best move that can take Curtis to the elite level the fastest is his King's move. Devon always says that. I know you have pulled him, you know better, but this is what Devon says. And we saw him do the King's move against Todd Hutchings as well. He tried to go inside.
You saw him do it against me too.
Yeah. So he tried to go inside with Todd and got blasted. He had nothing for Todd in a hook. Then he tried the King's move in last 2 rounds and he got a good stop. Todd still pinned him, but he got a good stop on Todd Hutchings. I think he's going straight to the King's move round 1. This is what I predict. And Zurab is not tall enough so that he can stand up and press, and beating a King's move with just side pressure 3 times, that is like near impossible task. At some point, you have to stand up, get behind your shoulder, and then press. I don't think Zurab can do that. I'm going with Curtis Cameron 3-0 in that match.
Let me see if I understand this. So in other words, you think match 1, Curtis Cameron, Pork Chop will go into King's move just to wear Zurab out. That way, it'll make his going to a hook that much easier because he'll have no stamina.
He can do that, but I'm not sure if he goes into a King's move, how does he finish that match? Like people like Devon can just stay there and beat people. Michael always has to like wait for that perfect moment to get behind his shoulder and press. I don't know what his finishing capabilities are. If he can finish that way comfortably, he may not even need to go in a hook. But if he cannot, if it is a difficult task, like it is a timing thing for him, just like Michael Todd, like he waits for that moment, then get behind his shoulder, then he may try to go in a hook later rounds. But I don't think it will be needed.
Keep in mind in this rule set, the King's move is going to be called a little more strictly too.
I don't think so.
No?
No. Engin was kind of frustrated with the reffing last time, but once you set a tone, I think it is really difficult. The referees are too submissive over there.
Yeah, I don't know. Jody, what do you think?
There's like 3 matches on this card that I'm not sure. I might have to come back like in the next few days or something like that. But for now, I'll just pick I don't know. I have to really go back and watch their matches against other people and really see what I can see. It's hard. I'm gonna pick Pork Chop 3-1 now, but I may change that in the next couple days. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put a star around that. So just
All right.
And Ryan, let me ask you a question. Would you say that Curtis has a better King's move than Ryan Bowen?
Oh my God.
Because yes, Zurab did say that in the last round he intentionally gave his wrist to Ryan. They had kind of a deal or bet or something, like Zurab would intentionally give his wrist to Ryan and then beat him. He did say that he tried to do that and he got like compromised, and it was we saw that it was kind of getting difficult for him. He almost got away. Ryan almost put the brakes on him, but there was just this small moment where he got pinned. It was not easy for Zurab to beat Ryan's King's move.
So I'll say this. It's a backup for Curtis. I think he will go right into him.
It's a break glass in case emergency type move for him.
Yeah. All right, guys. Gabriella. No need to even say the last name because there's only one Gabriella that we all know. Vasconcelos, of course. Barbora. How do you say her last name, Pradeep? Help me out here. Bajkova,
yeah. I also don't remember the exact name.
Yeah. Now, I can't ever. I know she's really good. I do not know. I can't ever bet against Gabriella. I never will. It's never a smart bet. 3-0. Jody and I have already said 3-0. What do you think?
I will also have to go with the safe bet again because I don't think any of us three has good data on Barbora, how she arm wrestles. There is some older footage of her practicing against Agle Vetkute, who Gabby recently defeated, and Agle was kind of comfortable against Barbora, but that was like almost 1.5 years ago. She's gaining fast. She's only 23 years old, I guess, and she's big. Like as someone mentioned, her height and weight is like exactly the same as Dave Chaffee. So she is big. Stylistically, being about a feet taller than Gabby, how is she going to set up? Is she comfortable with that low hand position? I'm not sure. Till that time, we see something exceptional from Barbora other than winning. I think she won. Obviously, she won her weight category in youth last time, but in seniors, has she won? I think she has won in seniors as well. I'm not sure about that. But until we see something exceptional, we would have to go with Gabby. I'm also going 3-0 with Gabby.
One thing I'm a huge fan of is somebody mentioned some stamina issues with Gabby in the past, but it seems like all the arm wrestlers from overseas are showing up really early to get accustomed to, or acclimatized to and get rid of the jet lag and all that stuff. So I think it'll be a good show.
Gabby's already there. I think she arrived like 20 hours.
Yeah, Curtis Cameron's there too.
I think Gabby, 3-0, but had this been East versus West, where it's 6 rounds, maybe
King of the table.
Or would Gabby just get 4 wins and go, okay, I'm done. I don't want to pull anymore, Yeah,
probably. So the next one we've got, of course, is Irakli Zirakashvili versus John Brzenk, sorry.
Yeah. Come on. Come on. As long as John is healthy, he's not sick or, we all know he was like not feeling 100%, health wise, not injury, but kind of under the weather type deal versus Armgords. The way John's now, I mean, he's retired like 27 times already. And, anybody at age 58 can do what that guy did or does at a high level is phenomenal. Is he prone to losing at least one match? Yeah, he's prone to lose one match, but you know what though? He's gonna double up on that and then some. I'm saying Brzenk 3-1.
Pradeep?
I would say that I'm horrible with predicting John Brzenk matches. Like I always change my prediction at the last moment, and it turns out that the initial prediction was correct every time. Every time I say John is going to lose, John wins. I was predicting Ongarbayev to win. At the last time, I said, "Man, everyone keeps on telling me that you're wrong when you predict John Brzenk to lose," and I predicted Ongarbayev to win. Then I changed my prediction last time, and John Brzenk lost. So it is always opposite. I have thought a lot about this match, like almost and a perfect style to beat John Brzenk. That's what Irakli possesses. I always think like, who would you bet? And I like to ask this question a lot. Who would you bet on in the Ongarbayev versus Irakli match if that happens? Kind of similar style. Irakli is more back, then he goes sideways. Ongarbayev is like a good mixture of cupping, pronation, back pressure. He does everything at the same time. Like, who would you favor in that match, Irakli or Ongarbayev?
I would take Ongarbayev.
Yep.
I also think so. First of all, I think there will be no hooking in this match because Irakli has like a world record level hammer curl and back pressure strength. I don't think he's hookable. Not by John Brzenk at least. I don't think he can do that. Sasha Andreev did that when Irakli was 90 kilos, but that was also like his wrist kind of got compromised with side pressure, like pure joint elbow based side pressure. He did 5-6 surges to the side. Then he slowly regained his cupping. John Brzenk cannot do that. John is not like who puts a lot of load on his joint and then hits sideways 4, 5, 6 times. John cannot do that, at least at this age. So hand battle for sure going to be a hand battle. Man, it is difficult. I would go with John Brzenk 3-1 because Irakli can pin John. He can surprise John, but we have seen that Irakli can be beaten without his wrist. I'm not saying John is Todd Hutchings. I'm not saying he has that kind of side pressure, but we have seen that he can pull without his wrist as well. I would say it is still lower than what Todd Hutchings can do without his wrist, but he can also do that. How much has Irakli improved? I'm not sure, but it is difficult, man. It is difficult. I can assume that the match is stopping somewhere like this. If you watch Irakli's previous matches when he was lighter, he has this small problem when he goes near the pad. His wrist kind of starts going back towards the pad when he's trying to finish the opponents. If that happens against John, you cannot beat John like this without a wrist. He will stop you and he'll beat you from there.
I'm going to say 3-2. And I only say that for John, of course, because John plays around and sometimes takes a loss that he might not need to. But definitely, I say 3-2 for John.
Well, who did he pull? Was it Zerop he pulled where he won 3-2 because those weird pins where the match was on the opposite? I can't remember who it was, but it was just a weird, it was a weird match. And John was getting frustrated, and when John gets frustrated and pissed off, then it's like, okay, everybody's in trouble. The refs are in trouble, the opponents in trouble, the people in the crowd are in trouble, kind of like one of those deals. And I want to say it was Zerop he pulled, where Zerop would pin him, but it wasn't like a real pin. It was like, I'm going to do some wicked, weird. I can't. So it's hard to explain, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do.
Exactly. Yeah, that was weird. And that's why I say, is John, can he lose a match? Yeah, off something weird like that, he can. So, but I said, like I said, John 3-1. There you go.
Next up, we got Craig Tullier versus David Samushia.
I'll have to get back to you like on Thursday with that. My prediction.
Well,
I'm sorry. That
I'm gonna give
I
you
would
one.
know.
Frank Jeff 48. I said Curtis Cameron 3-0. In this match, Craig Tullier versus David Samushia. I think I have to go with David on this one, and I probably think it's going to be straight matches based on what I've seen in the past. Craig just taking that loss down at King of the Table, Monster Factory. Sorry about that. And David he's been looking really good.
A question for you guys. Do you think pulling back-to-back high-profile matches is a mark against you? And I say that because, Ryan, you brought the fact that, Tullier just came off an awesome match, by the way, versus Brandon Elsesser, right? That went the distance. And the way it went to the distance, I'm wondering, did it take anything out of him getting ready for David? What do you guys think?
I definitely think that's a factor. He couldn't have come away from that match feeling just ready to train. There'd be some time off. There'd be some psychological stuff. He now has to deal with the fact that he could be facing a harder opponent, and he just took a loss. And
I only say that, and this is where I want Pradeep to chime in. Remember when Dave Chafee, King of the Table, he beat Vitali? It went the silver bullet, and all of them were wars. And then, hey, I'm a sub in for Jerry Cutter at last minute versus Gasparini, and it didn't work out for him. Like, do you think not having a proper rest or a proper healing does affect somebody going into these big matches?
First of all, I think I'm the wrong person to ask that question because I don't really train that much. But still, I think even I can guess that if you are hurt after a match, yes, you can fully recover by that in a month or so quite comfortably. But the training that you missed between that time, like that is the time when you go max weights, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the match. And if you have a match previously, you miss a week of any training at all. The next week, you're slowly kind of upping the weights. I think it messes a lot with your training. You could have gone to that 105%, but you stay at those 95, 100%. That's what I think. I wouldn't say it matters like more than 5% of it. It kind of affects you or prevents you from achieving your peak shape. That's all I would say. It's not
Right.
like it is bringing you down, but it is not letting you go as up as you could have gone without that match. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And I say that because if you're winning matches 3-0, okay, no big deal. I feel pretty good. No injuries. I didn't feel too much, as opposed to going the full distance, whether it be, hey, match 5 or match 6, and then you got to turn around the following X amount of weeks and go, hey, we're back at it. Where David been resting and training up until this point since his last match. That's the only reason why I brought that up. And I think that may have a factor. Because we all know Craig, if he can keep that elbow down, and get the hit, like, you have to get it now, because if the match stops, he may have trouble. He might have trouble. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to come back like on Thursday or something like that to give you my prediction. So
no worries. Pradeep, you got one?
Yeah, I think I can give you a small prediction, short prediction, and a long prediction. I'll give both of the prediction to you. The small prediction is there is a weight cap in this match at 85 kilos. And till about now, everyone, including Engin Terzi, was saying or questioning that David Samushia is kind of unbeatable. He's the world champion of 85 kilos, and he's kind of unbeatable at this point, at this weight cap. So with a weight cap of 85 kilos, Craig Tullier beating him would mean that Craig is number 1 in the world. Do you think a 51 or 2-year-old Craig Tullier is number 1 in the world at 85 kilos? I would say a confident no. This is the short prediction why David Samushia is going to win. And slightly longer prediction would be a stylistic thing. Yes, Craig's hook is really difficult. He puts pressure like kind of near your wrist, and it gets like in that position you feel, yeah, you have some bicep holding power, you can hold him, but his hits get kind of relentless really fast and he pins you. But David Samushia is confident in that position. Even against Brendan Elsesser, Craig Tullier was top rolling him. He was not going in a hook with Brandon. Is he going to go in a hook with David Samusia, who kind of stays there? That is his bread and butter. He won that way. I don't think so. Even if he top rolls David, which is extremely difficult, Paul was not able to do that. Paul beat him. That was with kind of a high hook. He was not able to open his fingers. So I don't think Craig can do that as well. Even if it does, we saw against Daniel Prokopchuk that Craig Tullia has that flop press as well. He can beat you without his wrist as well. And is David Samusia really, is Craig Tullia really stronger than Paul Lynn? Because Paul Lynn was like, it was 99 101 kind of like that against David Samusia. He could have lost that match anytime, Paul Lynn. And Artem recently practiced with both of them. He was asked that who would win in a super match, Paul Lynn or Craig Tullia. He said a confident Paul Lynn. I don't think Craig Tullia is on David Samusia's level, at least not at that weight. If we removed the weight cap from that match and Craig showed up at 215 pounds, then maybe, yeah, but not now.
Right.
All right, guys. In the interest of time, let's blast through a few. But Alihan Muratov versus Oleg Petrenko, left-handed. I'm going to take Petrenko. 3-2. And that's being generous. I think it could be 3-0.
I say Oleg 3-1.
I would say Oleg 3-0. Alizan Muratov was weighing 95 kilos and he won WAF 110 plus while weighing 95 kilos. There is a rule that you can compete only one weight class up. So he was eating everything, having like coins in his pocket just to weigh 100 kilos. Then he competed in the 110 kg class. Yeah, I also noticed that. So he won super heavyweight. I don't think I've seen or anyone has seen anything of that caliber in the recent times at the WAF stage. A 95 kilo guy winning the super heavyweights. So that was impressive. But still, man, Oleg Petrenko's left-hand match against Zurab was the reason why I changed my prediction to Oleg beating John on the right arm, because Zurab's left is supposedly better than his right. And Oleg in the first round against Zurab, he just did this, the Richard Lupkis move. He didn't even need to hook him, cup him, anything. Just he grabbed him and just like did the Richard Lupkis move on Zurab Tabaridze. And that was shocking. After that, he kind of controlled him and eased him down to the pad. That is one of the most impressive left-hand performances. I don't think Alizan can beat him. 3-0.
Here's the reason I butchered that name, by the way. Because back in the day, Jeff Frank booked him in a match at his huge event that had like 75 super matches booked, if you remember that. So he was booked, and that's how Jeff always said his name and talked about this guy. And I guess it just kind of, that's what I accepted it to be. But thank you for the correction, guys.
We got 5 matches left, guys.
5 matches. Corey West, Arif Ertem. I think Corey West wins handily. Right-handed.
Yeah.
I think there is a possibility for him to top roll Corey, but I wouldn't say he's that much strong. We saw him beat Vitaly Laletin once, but that was kind of after Vitaly had his match against Selayev, and Vitaly held him there for a very long time. It can be close. I can see there is an option where he can crack Corey's wrist, especially in the later rounds when Corey gets tired. But the likelihood of that happening is very low to me. I would go with the safe bet, Corey West 3-0.
3-0 as well. I could definitely see if he can manage to open him up and hold him there and bleed him out a little bit, then it could go the other way. But alas.
Yeah. Back in the day, he had like an amazing hook. He could have straight away like hook. You said I'm messing this up. Corey West versus
Arif Artem.
Arif Artem. Yeah, Arif Artem was the match. No. Arif Artem cannot top roll. I got confused with Farid Osmanli once again. Arif Artem, no.
The next match is Farid Osmanli versus Gennady.
Yeah, Gennady. I'm going with Corey 3-0.
Yeah. So Farid versus Gennady. Who do we have there? Because it's a big match. I'm going to...
I got Gennady.
Yeah. Until, like, there's no date on Farid. This is not a fair thing to predict because Farid has been away, hasn't been doing much, and all of a sudden he looks like he has packed on some muscle and he's ready.
But we haven't seen him on the table. It's like the Doug Ehrlich, yeah, we know, but haven't seen you. Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? Sorry.
So I guess I will go with Gennady 3-0 as well.
I would say I think this is one of the mismatches on this card. Stylistically speaking, it is a bad matchup for Farid. Gennady is going to win this 3-0. And going back to that match, Vitali versus Farid in that tournament. Vitali is not the kind of guy that would jam his elbow and flop press you to the pad. But even in that position, when Vitali was already tired, he held Farid for almost a minute. Farid was not able to beat him. And we have seen Gennady kind of lives there. He can be in that position forever. And even against Hermes Gasparini at King of the Table, Gennady was in one of the most compromised positions. His hand was outside of his shoulder. His wrist was completely taken. And he was basically like this. And Hermes was redlining on the other side. He was trying to get behind his shoulder, then pressing him to the pad. I don't think, even if Farid Osmanli takes his wrist, I don't think he can do anything from there.
Yeah. Paul Lynn, Rustem Babayev.
Here's my upset. Here's my upset right there. I'm taking Paul Lynn. This is my upset. Now, here's the deal. So far, Paul Lynn's been undefeated East versus West, okay? Yes, he lost against, at the Monster Factory versus Pablo, but, I think Pablo will get the call at some point. But I'm thinking Paul will be ready. I'm not saying he overlooked, Pablo, but this is what we know. Paul's undefeated. He has this rocket ship going this way. When was the last time we saw Rustem Babayev? And like I said, that's a big name, a huge name. If this was like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, I'd say Babayev undefeated. But, there's something to be said when you haven't pulled at a tournament for a while that we see. And Paul's just been constantly moving up the ladder. This is my upset. That's my upset. Paul Lynn, 3-2. Everybody's ready to jump on my face now. So
I love Paul, and I've done the most number of podcasts with Paul. Like we're kind of regular on this one, like good buddies. We talk on WhatsApp like almost every day. He's kind of giving me his training programs. I've also started to train a little bit. I'm going with 3-0 Rustem Babayev in this match. Because
ouch.
People are saying that yes, Rustem has not been active recently, but when Rustem competed last time, it was against Tim Bresnan. He lost that match 6-0 to Tim. But that was around the same time when Jerry was also competing in WL. And we all saw that with a similar amount of break, how Jerry performed against Gennady. It wasn't that big of a deal for an arm wrestler who is dominant for like almost 2 decades. Taking 3 years off, is it that big of a deal? I don't think so. I don't think so. And it is impossible for Paul to top roll Rustem. And in a hook, like really difficult. John was able to like grind a lot and beat him from there. Rustem Babayev was beaten by, I think, Zoloev. Zoloev's style was perfect for him. He was really fast, aggressive, and beat him in a hook. But I don't think Paul can do that. The match is going where Rustem wants it to go, and where he wants it is a hook. And in a hook, like, it is really difficult. I don't think Paul is at that level yet. Engin was also kind of relying on the fact why he set up this match. There is only one reason behind that, and Rustem was in that kind of war situation. Then he left his country. He didn't really train. That's the only reason why Engin is saying himself he set up this match. If Rustem was like peak shape, he wouldn't even set this match. And I think he's been training in UK for like 3-4 months now.
Yeah,
I think he's
with Paul Maiden. That's why Paul Maiden beat Beer Man. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's not like you forget how to compete. It's just practice pulling and tournament pulling, 2 different things. We all know that. I don't want to go off what he used to do. Just what I see lately. I test. So
I think Paul cannot shock him with top roll. Paul cannot shock him with speed. I don't think Paul can shock him with anything. 3-0 easy Rustem.
Well, here's what I think. I think the same thing as Pradeep. Now, I would happily be wrong, but I just don't. Judging Rustem where the level he was at, I have to assume that he's close to that now.
Right.
Big fan of Paul Lynn. Hopefully he can get it done. But the prediction is 3-0. Rustem.
Upset. Let's go. 2 matches left.
Michael Todd versus Armgorbayev.
Oh, I'm biased on this one.
So am I.
I'm so biased.
I think Michael has to. Let's be honest. I think Michael has to win. He has to win. He has to win.
Yeah.
And I will say that he will. 3-1.
Oh, that's what I got. 3-1. Got it right there.
I think I also have the same prediction. Whenever I think about this match, the only thing that comes to my mind is bicep. Is it going to hold up? Because in that King's Move position, even though I'm like completely untrained, but everyone kind of tries the training in that position in training, and the entire load comes on your bicep when you're in a King's Move. Like the King's Move say all the time that my bicep is extremely sore. Nobody says that. Todd Hutchings would say, I've never been to a tournament and said the next day, well, my bicep feels sore. No one feels that. But for the King's Moves always take all of the load on their biceps. Is it going to hold up?
I did talk to Michael after his tournament in Ohio, and talking with him on the phone, he said his worry going into that tournament was that, okay, and this was back, in case y'all don't know, Michael's quest for 100 first place victories this year is on board, and we're up and at him. So he said he was concerned that, okay, I'm getting everyone's best. Is my bicep going to hold up? And when he went through the tournament, took first place in all classes, he says, you know what? It held up. They even had some big 6'6", 300 guy jam on him like that, and it held up. He goes, okay, cool, I got this now. We all know a confident Michael Todd is probably one of the most dangerous Michael Todds, and some people need to are not Michael Todd fans. I get it, but we also got to realize sometimes with these matches you got to take out the emotion. Once upon a time, not too long ago, Michael was the top of the world, but now you're coming down in weight. I don't know what the weight cap is, but it's not like Michael lost his strength coming down to that weight. And that's the one thing that maybe Armgod is not used to, that kind of strength coming down. I'm saying I'm going with Monster 3-1.
Right on. Did you say your prediction?
Yeah, I also said 3-1, and the reason for that is I think it is stylistically a perfect match for Michael to win. Some like the comment that you just showed, Michael is going to be drained. I don't think so. Michael is someone who always speaks like, when I slept I was 250 pounds, and when I woke up I was 260 pounds just because I ate too much of pizza. To me it sounds kind of impossible thing to happen. I've never seen when my weight fluctuated more than like 2-3 pounds in a day ever. But Michael is someone who loses weight fast and who gains weight really fast. He told me that he was 100 kilos. He competed in 100 kilos in 2015, I think it was. So
yeah,
Michael,
nationals.
Yeah, nationals. So I think he can go down in that weight. And one match that always comes to my mind where I saw Ongarbayev's wrist get compromised, and I think it is going to happen near the pad against Michael as well, was against Alex Cordecha. He beat Alex, but he did this, like just without his wrist side pressure, and he beat him. I don't think it is possible to beat Michael like that. If it was possible, Todd Hutchings would have done that. Yes, Gennady was able to beat Michael like this in one round. After that, both Rivas and Gennady had to completely get on top of his hand and with the entire frame pushed down. That has always been needed to beat Michael's King's Move, and I've not seen Ongarbayev do that. I'm not sure if he's comfortable doing that.
Yeah, and he's not a super large human like those other guys.
Yeah, the weight advantage is not going to be there. And with Alex, there was some opportunities where he got Alex here. He could have stood up and then got behind his shoulder and then press. He did not do that, not even once in that match. This is what kind of forces me to believe that Ongarbayev is not capable of doing that. And that's the only reason I'm going with. I think he'll for sure take Michael's hand in the center. That is going to happen, I think, every time. But he'll still lose. That's my prediction.
One match to go, guys. The final match of the day.
Yes.
Jerry Big Daddy Cataret versus Georgi Svetkov, fresh off of his recent reinstatement after a doping suspension at WAF.
You had to put that in there, didn't you?
I was not aware of that. When was that?
He tested positive in 2018 in Turkey. It's public knowledge, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no, you're right. It is public knowledge, but I didn't think you were going to throw that tidbit out there. So
now let's not pretend. But Jerry, we got Georgie versus Jerry, humongous guys, and Georgie super strong. But after watching Jerry versus Gennady,
you want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right, Pradeep, Ryan, everybody in the chat. There's only two people that I know of that can make Jerry look small. This guy right there, right? And Georgie, right? I'm not sure where his conditioning is, but there ain't too many guys who are 330 plus pounds that can really, turn on the gas as far as conditioning. Jerry can get in there. He can just hang out all day. There's going to be tongue hanging out. There's going to be sweating. I'm sure after match one, Jerry's going to pull off his shirt and have a tank top on or whatever, and he's going to get the job done. And I think more motivation because Jerry wasn't able to pull Gasparini. He really wants to make his mark going, okay, I really got to do this. Now, I'm going to add something. Is this for like the interim super heavyweight title? Because when Jerry couldn't pull because of injury, Gasparini beat Chafee, which made him the interim. So, I mean, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing here? Is this interim title or what? Because Jerry still has the shield and the helmet.
It's for that. I think it's a real title match.
Okay. Jerry ain't losing that. Because I know Jerry's mind is like, okay, I need Levon. I got to beat Georgie. Because now he's going to look at, well, crap, now I got to watch Levon and Gasparini do their thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say Jerry 3-1.
I agree completely. 3-1, Jerry Cataret. In wars, all of them. Except for the last match will be pretty easy because I think Georgie will be completely drained by that point.
Yeah. I also had the same prediction, like even before as well. 3-1 for Jerry. And some people, like big Jerry fans they try to act like Jerry is impossible to top roll. You cannot beat Jerry by top roll. But I don't think it is impossible. Like even Gennady did that a couple of times, once outside of straps and once in the straps as well. And as everyone keeps on saying that Georgie's top roll is going to be much better than Gennady. At least the top roll department, he's better. And the only advantage that he has in this match is the frame. Will he be afraid to like go sideways, not just go backwards? Because you need to have a frame. Like, I don't care if you're the strongest 110 kilos guy, you cannot really go frame to frame against Jerry. But even if you're not that strong, but you weigh 170 kilos, can you test your frame against Jerry? Not necessarily in a hook. Like if we try to remember the first round of WL 2018, Devon versus Jerry, it wasn't an inside move. It was kind of a top roll. Devon took his wrist and kind of got behind his shoulder a little bit. Can Georgie do something similar to that? I don't think so, because his style is he's completely separated from his body. All of the matches he has won, like he's completely below the table. The arm is separated. He focuses on his pronation and nothing else. Yeah. I think it is possible to beat Jerry that way, but not 3 times. That's why I think 3-1 for Jerry, with the first round going to Georgie.
It's going to be an amazing weekend, guys. I got to bounce because I have to be at an appointment in exactly 45 minutes. And I have 47 minutes to get there, and it's a 45-minute drive.
All right. So, everybody in the chat, don't forget to wish Gary Goodrich a happy birthday.
It's Gary's birthday. Don't forget. And, Pradeep, thanks for joining us. Jody, it's been a pleasure as usual. Don't forget to watch this weekend. I will be refereeing, so I will not get to watch it live. Hopefully they put it on the cameras or on the screens where I am. So
next Monday, we'll go through all this, shall we?
We shall. All right,
thanks
guys.
Everyone. And some of the viewers, if they're watching this live stream, they don't usually watch this channel, then please subscribe. I always say this one thing when I come on your show. I like the level of professionalism, both full widescreen HD quality. Jody's got a microphone. Ryan's audio is also okay, not so bad. Ryan's also got, like, it looks same too, but it is way too far from you. That's why maybe it is not so good. And you guys never divert from topic, not too much. Like, always stay on point, always have the topics for discussion figured out. That's one thing that I like. And I always, every Monday, whenever you go live, I feel like, man, I should ask Ryan to just jump on the show just because of the professionalism you guys bring. I'm a big fan of this show. So guys, please subscribe. Please subscribe if you haven't already.
Much appreciated.
Appreciate it. Everybody,
Thanks.
Enjoy your Tuesday. We will chat back next Monday so we can go over our predictions and see how bad I did. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, everybody.